How did we get here?
I don't know. I basically I just wanted to know how is your event going because you're part of a 3 days pop-up event, concerned about clothes and alcohol free. So how is it? How's it going so far?
It's so much fun. So many really beautiful and nice ladies. It's mainly ladies because it's mostly fashion and some children's clothes, children's stuff. Really nice interior, really beautiful jewelry. Like these coffee table books, cards, play games, and decoration. And yeah, my role is to be that ambassador for mindful drinking, and that's why I am not only showing them and letting them try organic wines and biodynamically produced wines, but also a selection of de-alcoholized wines. And I must say they are really jumping on it. They are like, oh wow, I wouldn't have expected to taste that good. And some of them are just like, yeah, okay, it tastes like apple juice. But that's always those yeah those responses that you get. But it's a lot of fun, and yeah, I will speak a bit later about the like more feedback. But yeah, let's jump into the episode.
Perfect. Let's go. Welcome, 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 all you curious people, no boozers and wine lovers, to the 14th episode of Double O, your weekly go-to show on non-alcoholic products in the podcast universe. We always start with our celebrity of the week. Last week, we almost forgot him or her. Who is it this week?
It's someone that you probably also wouldn't have thought that he is sober because he has his very own wine brand. He bought a winery with his wife. Many people
Former.
might already know who it is. Yes, it's Brangelina. It's Brad Pitt. So they split up and they also split up the winery. You were reporting about that in Pinot and Pixel. Really, really exciting stuff. But yeah, this Miraval, like very, I think I like the taste of Miraval, and it's just very easygoing. It's in every beach club, in every fancy restaurant you can drink Miraval and Miraval Studio. And I also like the marketing concept and the idea behind Studio. But what I wanted to emphasize here is that this guy, Brad Pitt, he's sober. He also reached a stage in his life where he had taken it too far. That's how he describes it. So he removed his drinking privileges or drinking attitude. And he actually went to the Alcoholics Anonymous, like
Ooh.
AA, a whole year, a whole year and a half. And that was following his divorce from Angelina Jolie. So I think very tough times for him. But this was already in 2016. So yeah, he's obviously made it very far, and looks in this picture he looks a bit pale. But other than that, I mean, he's probably, how old is he now? He's still a catch.
Can you imagine how tough it might be if you are famous like him and you have to go to a club like the AAs
Mhm.
because you have a problem? I mean, it's powerful enough just to get that you have a problem. The next step is to realize I need therapy, and then actually going to therapy, especially when you have a reputation like him. It's wow. Chapeau.
Yeah, but on the other hand, it's anonymous. And I think in that, actors and singers and like this whole Hollywood scenery, there are so many people having an alcohol problem.
Can you
That's why
imagine?
this category will outlive the podcast.
But can you imagine talking about anonymously? You go to your AA meeting in Stuttgart in the afternoon, and then
Yeah.
you walk in, and there's Brad Pitt sitting. And what is your reaction? Hi, I'm Bella. No, you would freak the hell out. I was like, oh my God, No?
I wouldn't. I'm really calm and chill about celebrities. But I have
Okay,
a with
respect.
influencers. There's this one influencer girl from Berlin, and when I met her a few times already, and whenever I met her, I was just not myself anymore because I was like, it's her. I don't know what I'm talking. What are words?
Do you want to share who it is?
It's Melissa Dobridge.
Ah,
And
okay.
she's really funny. She's not the like usual influencer
Okay.
showing
So shout out
products
to
in
Melissa.
the yeah, she's making the best stories. She's the storytelling queen. And she also has a podcast with many more episodes than we do.
We can put the link in the show notes. No worries. I will talk to my back office to put the link in the show notes, and then
Yeah,
you can have a
Martin will
look.
do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Whom?
And I also wanted to share while we are speaking about podcasts, I wanted to share a podcast recommendation. It's
Hmm.
called, one second.
Pinot and Pixel, probably.
I think I've done
Yes.
my brand ambassador part for that.
Let me know if you need an
It's
affiliate
called
link.
yeah, I could really make money with that. It's called A Sober Girl's Guide podcast. And
Hmm.
don't worry if it's not only directed to girls, but I listened to an episode recently about one couple that went sober and they opened up a store in Texas, in Austin, I think, or Houston, Texas.
Hmm.
And yeah,
Hmm.
they spoke about how the whole business setup was really struggling, but then sometimes it was also just really easy and they had this dream, and now they were able to create a room where people are safe and they can also just hang out and have a bottle of wine or whiskey or whatever, just like de-alcoholized, of course. And yeah, that was really really touching. A personal story with a business background is the latest episode. So yeah.
So right now, we'll definitely put the link in the show notes. Okay.
Yeah, let's do
Because,
that.
I mean, you are an inspiration. And this is also the reason for our next topic. Because last time we talked about zebra striping. Very important, guys. It's not zebra stripping. I used to mix that up every now and then. Zebras don't wear clothes. So stripping is not an option. So it's called zebra striping. And I was so excited last time when you talked about it because I was like, why striping? Why just not be alcohol at all? And in the last 5 days, there were 4 articles talking about zebra striping. A quarter of the UK drinkers embrace zebra striping. And then when it comes to not doing this regularly, like one on, one off, but in general, it's almost 68%. That's super crazy. And basically, the idea
Mhm.
you described it in the last podcast is to come closer to moderate drinking and having less alcohol, still enjoying the time, this social gathering and stuff. So I did some research on what is zebra striping all about, and I wrote a blog article on it, and AI helped me with the picture. Look at this. It's a zebra having a glass of wine.
It should have another one that is alcohol free,
But you
that it
can't
can
you can't
alternate
spot if
it.
it's alcoholic or alcohol free. Maybe it's alcohol free. Look at how happy he is, or she. It's a him. I gave
Or
him a
maybe
name.
it has alcohol free wine and the alcoholized wine in one glass, just mixed it already.
Is that
Because that would also
striping
be
then?
zebra striping, right? I mean,
Hmm.
it doesn't mean, or is the definition that you have to have two glasses and that you have a time difference between when you drink it? Or can you
Yeah.
also just mix it? Because that's what I also already did in the past. I had, oh my God, like winemakers will really hate me for that. But I mixed a rosé wine with a de-alcoholized rosé wine, and it was really good. I liked it.
I mean, there is companies doing it like this. Gentle Wine, for example, for Moritz
Mhm.
Zurwitz, the former founder of Colonel Null, co-founder of Colonel Null. So basically, you have a product that is closer to your original one, but with lower alcohol levels, 6, 7, something like that. Sure, but I guess the idea of striping is
Mm.
alternating the drinks. And I don't want to go to all of this because it's 80% is the summary of what you just said the last time. What it is, the main key fact behind is moderate drinking. You're hydrated because maybe you just mix it with water. You drink wine and water, something like this. And
Mm.
basically, right now, I get that I have been doing steeper striping for a long, long time because I always tell people, no matter how good the alcohol is, if you don't drink enough water, you will get headaches. So have at least the same amount of water than wine. Then you have the hangover reduction and you have an enhanced social experience because you just realize more things around you because you're not drunk. And then you have the challenges. You also talked about this, the social pressure of holding a Coke or cheering with a Coke or so, the consistency, how tough it might be to stuck on that, the availability. There is not many events like yours where I can just have a drink of alcohol-free stuff, and the taste, because they often compare it to their um, counterparts with alcohol, and this is basically not always possible. We've had that for 30 years with beer. But the question was, why not go completely alcohol free? This is what was in my hand because in my mind, because when I
Mhm.
have a drink and I like it with or without alcohol, just get rid of it. But of course, you still maybe want to enjoy some alcohol because you just like the, as you said, boozy feeling. This was what you said. Then of course, um, it could be really tough to go all in, and maybe also the question is, how high is this probability of relapse? So I don't know, I start with the striping, then I go 100% alcohol free, and 2 days later I say, no, I need alcohol. It's the same
Yeah.
with every um,
Drug.
addiction you have. From
Mhm.
100 to 0 is always tougher than just trying to slow down. So there is other people saying something different, but this is basically the idea behind the zebra striping. And I guess if you find the perfect drink for you, or maybe 4 to 5 alcohol-free drinks that you really like and that are um, wider available, it could be an option in the future that you switch to totally alcohol-free drinks. Um, but it's a good way right in between, in the middle. Yeah.
And I always feel like people are just different. There are some people that are these either all or nothing, that have this mentality of I either drink completely and I get completely drunk, or I don't drink at all. What's the point of one glass? And then there's people that just, yeah, just like me, I can totally drink one glass and then the next one will be just water, and then the next one will be a no alcohol wine, and then I'm totally fine with it. So just, yeah, take whatever is feasible for you and for your body, and just appreciate that people are different, and that, yeah, some people just need this limit to themselves, that they say, okay, I won't touch anything, otherwise I will be like loose and out of control. But there are other people that are able to do that cut after one glass.
Exactly. And the main problem that we usually have with trying new things is also this. I compared it to the vegan movement. You often have those people that are dogmatizing it. Yeah, and of course, as you said, they can have their own opinions. They can live like they want. But if I just decide to drink less and maybe one day I don't drink at all, this is my personal decision. And it's easier for me to go vegan, to go alcohol free if I can do it the way I want to. And if I struggle
Mm,
with it, I can still ask you as a, I don't know, super dogmatized runner, why not go cycling?
yeah.
Because I struggle with quitting cycling or so. Yes.
A common problem, we all
It's a
know.
common problem. Uh, yes, and to wrap this up, or just to give a little outlook on the non-alcoholic market and basically what is mainly driving, especially the development in the UK market, where we talked about 25% are already zebra striping. There was this article in the IWSR, a platform we have highly recommended several times, and I will do this every single time because the studies, the articles are just amazing. The total average beverage alcohol market in the UK and generally worldwide is declining, is in decline, and it was 2% last year in the UK. But the non-alcoholic and the low alcohol, so the no-low market is on the rise, and it's expected to grow 19% annually for the next 5 years and add up a 800 million pounds in that case, so almost 1 billion euro in the next 5 years. And this is not only the UK, but UK is a very big market for alcohol-free products.
Yeah, and I mean, we are speaking about that later in more detail. But what I told you before, that the beer demand is at its lowest since 1999. So it's really, you see it everywhere, and I'm really looking forward to later speak about athletic brews, because that's just insane.
Yes, but before we do that, we take this this message, this news from the Rise of Nodinolo segment to talk about your event and also something that you discovered with, I guess, one of your visitors, one of your customers.
Yeah, so first of all, of course, it's a little bit different to approach an event like that and have like 50-50 of your offering being alcohol free. And it was very well received. And yesterday there was also a young girl approaching me, and she told me that she had, or that she's doing an internship at a regional winemaker here, which I also know. And yeah, and I asked her, hey, how do you feel that, and can you explain why your generation is drinking so much less than the generations before?
Mm.
And she also didn't really have like an answer to it. And that's when I realized it's just different. It's just like the same, like we are questioning what our parents or the generations before do. They also do that. And that sometimes it's not there's not one reason, but there are just a few. And that's, yeah, that was really interesting. And she also said that they have recently had launched an alcohol-free wine, but then, yeah, they didn't really have a lot of produce from that and a lot of return, and so they stopped doing it, and now they don't even have an alcohol-free product in their collection.
How
Really
long did you
interesting.
try it for? Do you know that?
No idea. No.
Because 2 months, 10 bottles sold, this doesn't work. So more patience. And yeah, I don't know if what the winery is. If it's a traditional winery with many cellar door sales, sometimes you have a more classic traditional customer base, and it might be tougher to convince them of trying an alcohol-free product. But the bigger companies, they all have one.
Yeah, so in general, it just makes it so much fun for me to speak to people here, because it's a very regional, traditional town. And everyone just likes drinking wine and sparkling wine. And yeah, the questions, or maybe one of them that I then also explained again, and we did an episode on this before. It was episode 7, where we spoke about the effects of alcohol on sleep. Because one girl was also approaching me saying, why is it that after drinking white wine or sparkling wine, we just can't sleep? We have the worst sleep problems. And I was like, yeah, it's our good old friend GABA, who is being it's just this prevention of your neurotransmitters. So whenever you drink alcohol, it goes right into your bloodstream, and it goes right into your brain. And alcohol is soluble in water and in fat, so it can surpass your blood-brain barrier really easily. And this GABA is is usually for calming you down, and it has a very calming and soothing effect. And alcohol, it releases GABA. So it makes you sleepy. And then GABA dominates the first half of the night, makes you fall asleep sometimes even more quickly when you drink a lot. But then once the GABA is metabolized, it becomes glutamate, like this very exciting and very, like making you very active in your physiological state. And it is also being released in your reticular activating system, to bring a little bit of biology in this, where where your sleep and awake and arousal is stored, and it disrupts that. So the first half of your metabolizing process, you release a lot of GABA, but then it makes you even more active once it's metabolized, and your serotonin and dopamine process is, it's just disrupted, to sum it up. But if you want to listen to episode 7, you can get the full details on that. And yeah, that also brings me directly to our next topic, which is what a Cologne research team found out. And they have found out that these, sometimes you like to have a gin tonic on a flight, or maybe a wine. And it's really common to drink on flights, because maybe sometimes people are just bored, or they want to sleep, or they want to enjoy the movie and just have a glass of wine, because it's also for free. And yeah, some people
It's
just...
still? What are you flying? Business class?
First class,
I have
private
to pay for
jet.
seat reservations.
Yeah, maybe not in the short distance flights, but on long flights, I think it's still pretty common, because you get drinks for free. You get tomato juice. I always have tomato juice, but sometimes I also would have a glass of wine, until now, because they have found out that when you drink before a flight, you also see sometimes 10 in the morning, you see people just having a beer at Munich airport. I'm like, is this like a different parallel universe where you're allowed to just drink much earlier? Like no time and space anymore. But yeah, when you drink before your flight or during the flight, it also, of course, goes directly into your bloodstream. If you have a heart precondition, that can really lead to problems. And the explanation for that is from the spike in your heart rate and the drop in oxygen saturation that just happens when you are a few kilometers up in the air. It increases your risk of getting a heart attack, because these two conditions just make it very hard for your body to be alive. It's just the worst possible conditions that you can put your body into. And they also found out that 58% of in-flight diversions or emergency landings are due to heart attacks.
Yes, and if you have Wi-Fi on the plane, what you could do is not drinking, so stop drinking in the plane, and then Google your destination, I don't know, London, New York, whatever, in the brand new mocktail search engine. There is a mocktail search engine called Mocktail Quest, and it lists bars, restaurants, and shops specialized on alcohol-free products, and mostly focused on the US, apparently. But nevertheless, they have big cities, and I just had a quick look on that. There's London, of course. There's New York, Philadelphia, Washington, Chicago. But London is quite a big thing. We talked about the growing UK market, and I had two things in my mind when I saw that. First, this is one platform that will grow over the next years. And secondly, if I have a business, I don't know, I'm the only alcohol-free shop in Berlin, in Frankfurt, in Vienna, I would definitely try to get listed over there. Because can you imagine people are looking for
Definitely.
that? You have a central database where everybody's looking at, and then it's like Bella's Bar in Stuttgart.
Is it
Have your
easy to
alcohol-free
sign
drinks.
up there?
Yeah,
Sorry.
sure.
Is it easy
You,
to sign up?
you don't
Does
have
it
to sign
cost
up
you
just
anything as
to
a
browse.
business owner?
Oh, I haven't figured out that actually, because it's quite tough to find out how they find their partners.
Operate?
Oh, basically, here's
And
add
if you
new
go to at your
location.
own?
Yeah, let me check. How
Okay.
does it work?
And maybe you can also, if you
Ah,
have
it's for
brand
free.
ambassadors, you can also add and just make suggestions which ones you would like to add. I could add the one from the podcast.
This is really cool. I totally overlooked that. Thank you very much. Yes, you can register, or at least you can try to register a shop, a platform for free. You just send this, you fill out this form, say this is the business name, this is the website, it's the category, are you the owner, is it online? Maybe we should do that one afternoon or so, just set up a list of 20 or 30 in Germany, in Austria, and France, just to bring some more attention to Central Europe, because, I mean, we have a lot of stuff going on. We just have to talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. And it would be so nice to have this one-stop shop to find it in just one place and not have to Google, and then it takes you so many times to find the right articles, and it takes you so much just to read through that stuff. So yeah, this is great. Thank you for
Yes.
bringing that up.
Talking about products, right now we have 3 different brands and products in our news section. First one is, how is it pronounced? Tell me, please. You're as a local.
Martin Schongauer.
This is normal.
With Martin Schongauer.
But how would you pronounce it in your local language, like the dialect from your area? Martin Schongau.
No,
No, really?
that's not Swabian. But that's probably how people perceive Swabians. Oh God, yeah. It's a lovely dialect. Just love it. Yeah, so they are also jumping on the Nolo train. They've had a product launch, I think it was last year or the year before that already, which went really, really well. And so now they have tried a new Pinot Bianco. And yeah, it's like very affordable. The pricing starts at 550, I think it was. And it's from this Baden cooperative. So it's a large cooperative. It's not one like small winemaker. At least that's what I got from the article. Correct me if I'm wrong. And yeah, the last, if maybe some of the people might know that the one they had in 2023 was called Die Sonnenwinzer. And yeah, maybe some details around Baden while we are already at it. So Baden is the third largest wine growing region in Germany, Rheinhessen being the biggest one. And they have 16 hectares of wines, and just Pinot Bianco. I don't know if people really connect Pinot Bianco with German wines, because everyone probably already thinks about Riesling, which is of course our most planted grape variety, but Pinot Bianco is like 5% of German wine cultivation. And from Baden to US, where our next product comes from. Completely different marketing. If you look at this, it's like this like moon invasion.
Wow.
And it also really gives you, with pictures, like with these visuals, it gives you already a feeling of how this could taste like. And that's why I put it in, because I'm not really a beer kind of girl. I don't really drink beer. I don't like beer. But this one sounds really nice. Like if you love coffee as I do, this might be very appealing, because the ingredients are, like, of course it's water, but then barley, oats, and rye, like a usual beer, and a little bit of milk, hops, of course, and cacao nibs. So it just sounds like it is very chocolatey, nutty, and very yeah, like a mouthful. I can feel it in my mouth when I read through this. If you scroll down, you see how many awards they won. That's just insane. So whoever gets a hand on this, like this is all the awards they got. A little bit more up
Oh, they're from the
next to
UK.
the ingredients. Oh, I said US. Oh God.
It's in
But they're
Suffolk.
probably also available in US.
That's closer. Let's try to get that fast. They're also present in the US, of course. But at least the company is listed in the UK. Big Drop Brewing. But the branding is amazing. I immediately want to drink that right now. It's just
Yeah,
you can feel the
very
freshness
well
just
done.
looking at the picture.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we have some really big beer news this week, and I love this story. So, first of all, Athletic Brews is the first beer company that really only sells non-alcoholic beer, and they are not part of, at least they started out not being part of any large cooperative or large beer company, because they completely started on their own. And I love these entrepreneurial startup stories. So yeah, let's set the scene a little bit. So the founders are called Bill Schofield and John Walker, and they were in an interview, and what they said was really so eye-opening, like where this whole category is going, because they were out of, I think, Uber or Drizzly, from all the like most sold products, SKUs in beer, they were always in the top 5, and in every category. It was just like very eye-opening. Just showed that this whole marketing concept that they had turned out to be a whole success. But it was not always that easy. So they also quit their corporate jobs to work on this product. They have been turned down by, I think, 130 or 160 VC investors. So everyone said no, nobody believed in their idea until they found, like, with old college classmates that just sat together and pitched the idea, and they all went in like 5,000 euros, and that's how they started. And yeah, they just had like this cool idea of approaching this country singer. He's called Walker Hayes. And you might know him. He has this fancy like song. I listened to it while I prepared the podcast, or read into it.
Feeling.
And it's just like I just love these easygoing country songs, and that's why this also is such a good message or such a good match, because as easy as this like bonfire and guitar singing scene that you have in your head, or you sit on a boat in some of these huge lakes somewhere in, I don't know, in Canada, and you just have this beer in your hand, and you just totally see yourself with this like easygoing beer. They have just the best like brand ambassador for that. Yeah, he's standing in for simple living, easy drinking, and as is a very traditional country singer, but that's how they also succeeded in not only approaching the coastal areas, so California or New York, where like all the new products are at, but also those markets where country songs are like on the radio every day, where country songs are really popular, like more of these inland states, the central states. And yeah, to make sure that they are really mass appealing, they teamed up with Walker Hayes, and they have a strong connection to retailers like Target, Walmart, Trader Joe's. So this whole omni-channel is really interesting, because they started out with an e-commerce, and it's like one of the first brands to really do that, to just sell directly to their customers, have this direct relationships, also direct feedback, which is really cool. But then also, yeah, of course, be present in all of the leading supermarkets. And they really doubled down on their marketing budget. So they also gave out a lot of try out samples. And I think that's how they also caught the attention. Like when you go to Target, you always, at least when I was in the US, I always loved to try samples. And I feel like this just always works out. We didn't really speak about the athletic part of the name, and that stems from the founder, who also asked his colleagues and his counterparts at partner businesses that they worked with, oh my god, do we really want to have another dinner going out and drinking? I can't do it anymore. I want to be fit in the morning. I would rather go to Barry's, like the sports classes, or to a cycle class. And he was not the only one saying this. Like his colleagues and coworkers totally agreed with him. And so he was like, yeah, why isn't there one product that you also want to drink in front of others, and it's not like this embarrassing or just, yeah, not tasting nice beer. So, yeah, so he just decided to build the category by himself. And yeah, then they teamed up, like these two founders. And yeah, as said, they have been turned down a lot of times, and I'm really glad that they had this stamina and they just powered through it. We spoke about the US and innovations and how it's much easier there, but this story also shows it's not always easy. It can also fire and be the biggest success ever, but you have to put in a lot. You have to sacrifice a lot. And many people will say, no, I don't believe in it. But if you believe in it, then you, yeah, likely to find that these people that are also contributing. And then, yeah, they found a really good angel investing round. Then it's just started. And to the product itself, they were asked in the interview what beer is mostly consisting of is this mouth feel and the alcohol. And they just said they went from the end product and had this like reverse engineering thought. What do they want the product to taste like? And so they said, it's not that we try to replicate alcohol, because we don't think that's a really fundamental part of beer, because the most fundamental parts of beer are the malt, the hops, the water, the carbonation, and honestly, the occasion. And I totally agree with that, because you drink beer in social occasions, you drink beer while watching sports. And yeah, that was also their entry level into their whole marketing campaign and how they found these brand ambassadors. They teamed up with live sports events. So be it the NBA or National Hockey League and everything. And yeah, sorry, I just realized I'm not making a point. So do you have any comments? I think you also read the article, so if you have anything to add, just add it.
Athletic Brewing is one of the companies in the whole market, especially talking about alcohol-free products, successful products, because I mean they did everything they could and everything just went or turned out to be a good idea. They partnered with celebrities, with a large following, with a huge community. They gave out the samples. They were present in on-premise and off-premise. They just grew it from scratch, then had their bootstrapping, then their funding. This is a blueprint for every company. And as you mentioned it's always very important to stay patient and just, you have the tenacity and keep going. And we only usually talk about success stories like that, but I guess there has been 250 brands that tried it the same way and they weren't successful. So sometimes it's also about the occasion, the situation, and the environment of a brand like this.
Yeah, and just thinking about they didn't go this process that where every other beer company would say, okay, we are already present in this or that store, so we will ask them to also add our non-alcoholic version to it. No, they went a different path. They thought, hey, where are these places where beer is usually not sold? And then they went there. So they thought about, we can sell it at fitness studios, at gyms, we can sell it at like everywhere where you would normally not really expect beer, and that's a whole new market that opened for them. And yeah, of course, this whole NBA and football player, like for example, JJ Watt, also we probably don't really know him here in Germany, but he's a football player, and he also endorsed the brand, and all these elite athletes and sports people, they have just waited for a product like this.
And
Very,
the more
really,
we
really
talk
cool.
about alcohol-free beers, the more I like to taste some. Usually, I don't know what your reason is why you don't drink beer that much. For me, I guess at the age of 12 or 13, I tried it, and the beer I tried was too bitter for me. I didn't like this hoppy taste in my mouth. So maybe this was one reason. But today, with those IPA styles, with the stout styles, like the sweeter ones, you mentioned the cocoa nips in the beer. So you have more accessible flavors in products like that. So this might be definitely a path to go as a brand and for me as a person to try that out.
Yeah.
Um,
And for the record, 80% of the customers of athletic brews also drink traditional beer. So it's not a completely new like customers department. It's the same people that also drink traditional beer, which just shows that yeah, the taste is obviously very authentic.
so this is their peer group,
And
the zebra stripers in beer.
everyone that drinks traditional beer. And then yeah, now they are really skyrocketing. I think Keurig Dr. Pepper invested $50 million in athletic brewing. So yeah, now they are all coming. Now the whole venture capitalists that turned them down in the beginning, now they are coming back like, can we invest?
Athletic also has a shop where you can buy the beer, of course, the sparkling water, and they have merch. And of course, they have beer glasses, quite beautiful glasses, actually, quite interesting
Mhm.
glasses. They have shirts, and what really surprised me, they have clothes for women in sports. So you can buy tank tops, you can buy leggings, you can buy sweaters. Just wow, this is a long list. Yeah,
Oh
clocks,
God, the clocks.
yeah, here, there you go. So you have the beer glass right next to this young lady with the tank top, the sports bra, the leggings, and, and a blanket just to lay down on the beach or so in the grass in the garden. They think of everything.
Yeah, this is like
There you go.
a very long advertising series for athletic brews. But I just think it's so funny that, like the fact that I sat down on Saturday evening and I watched this country singer and I listened to the song and I looked at the advertising that they made together, and it's just funny. They are talking a lot. It's just cool.
It is. If you're
Yeah.
okay with that, we would stop our huge excitement for the brand story of Athletic right now. We go to the last section. Last week, we talked about categories and what categories are possible in, or if how tough it might also be to differentiate between the categories, especially in the alcohol-free area. And we're not talking about sodas and water. We're talking about beer, wine, tea, and stuff like that. And when I talked about England last week at Pinot Pixel, my favorite product wasn't the wine, it was a cider. And the UK, especially the UK and the north of France, is a cider country. And cider, I mean, it's made in a similar way compared to wine, but out of apples, fermented, and then usually you have an alcohol level between, what is it, 5 to 8 or so low in alcohol. But also, if you take a good base product of higher quality, this results in a great product in the end, a great cider. And there is also alcohol-free versions available. And there was an article, I will put the link in the show notes, the best alcohol-free ciders uh, tested. I mean, we won't go through the products itself, but what was interesting to me was they only talk about ciders that started the fermentation and then they were stopped sitting around 0.5. So this is, it's
Mhm.
still alcohol free because it's lower than 0.5, but it's not de-alcoholized. And then there is de-alcoholized ciders in England, in France, and also in Germany. Thatcher's is quite a big producer, what you usually get from the tap in bars. But what I wanted to say is there's not only beer and wine or just totally crazy products coming from, I don't know, infused water or so. There's also alcohol-free ciders, and apples are great fruits. So if you look for a good base product, high quality base product, this can result in really great products in the end. And this is also the reason why I chose our drink of the week this time. And I will try not to smack a lot while tasting that. This is a premium apple juice. Sounds a bit awkward, doesn't it? The company is called Kohl. They are from Alto Adige, from northern Italy. And what they do is they grow fruit at higher altitude. And what they have is, in the end, a resulting product of very high quality, very concentrated fruit, very lively acidity, what you usually would not expect from a juice, because usually at least in Central Europe, juices are not a thing as they might be in the US. We talked about the most successful alcohol-free products in the US, and juices, what is it, 3 or 4 on the list?
Mhm.
Usually juices of high sugar. So you have this super full body mouthfeel that sometimes annoys you because, I don't know, this one has 100 grams of residual sugar on the liter, so 10%, but you
Wow.
don't feel it. Yes,
Okay.
you don't feel it. The acidity in those apples is so high. This is so fresh. I would it's to me it feels like maybe 40 or 50 grams, but not 100. Look at the color. The color is beautiful. It's a bit hazy. So it's also a product where you not only just swallow it, you can enjoy this product. It's well suited for food pairing as well, because apples are a fruit that can pair with a lot of stuff. Fondue, vegetables, meat as well, cheese. And in addition, because you just laugh when I said 10 grams per 100 residual sugar, of course, you can add water to dilute this with or without CO2. I tried this yesterday, and the problem was due to the high acidity level. When you add sparkling water that was carbonized, it annoys you. The bubbles were really big, and the acidity
Yeah.
was just noisy in the mouth. So I like this a bit chilled down, maybe to 7 or 8 degrees, and drink it purely. And it's I guess it's tough to transport, but having a juice that gives me an excitement like that is just amazing.
And
I
it's
love it.
something that you can already drink at 11 in the morning. And I just wanted to add, when we spoke about this, like these high sugar levels that we also sometimes see in sparkling wines, and especially in de-alcoholized wines, because sugar is your tasting transporter. I don't know if that word makes sense. But yeah, that's also sometimes the reason why I didn't really drink on Friday. I just had like non-alcoholic wine. And I also had difficulties falling asleep because the sugar just gives you so much energy. It is metabolized and it wants to, like, bring you forward. It activates you rather than bringing you down. And I mean, just imagine how much worse it is if you drink alcohol that has sugar in it, like that is also metabolized into, like, alcohol is also broken down into sugar at some point in your body, in this like very useless, very empty calorie sugar. And it just doubles the effect, the effect that you already have from the sugar in the sparkling wine or in the sect or whatever you're drinking, or prosecco. plus then the one that comes out of the metabolization. That's just no wonder people can't really sleep anymore after they drink. So it's good that you drink it early in the day.
And it's something, I guess it's good to wrap the episode up with that, because it's always important. This is why we talk about this always. And it's always important to have a look at the sugar levels, because acidity covers the felt sugar in your mouth. And when you have problems, when your sleep quality is not the best, drinking this at 9 p.m. is a problem, unfortunately, but it is. Yeah. So if you decide to do zebra striping or just quitting alcohol at all for this night, and you have a glass of this, you might sleep even worse. So this is why it's important to have a look at the sugar levels. Nevertheless, highly recommended. Great drink. Great drink.
Yeah, right. Cool. It was very fun. I hope you have a great weekend. For everyone that is listening to this on Monday, have a great start into the week. And as always, start your week right by making conscious decisions.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye-bye.